So today I'll be discussing the first cantos and rest cantos I'll be discussing in the next session. For that you have to be stay connected with our English teacher. You have to like our English teacher. You have to subscribe our English teacher, and you have to be stay connected with us to know the rest cantos. So let's start with the first cantos. Welcome to the English teacher. I hope here most of you are lover of English literature. Yes, if you are a lover of English literature, or if you like romanticism, this session is for you. Yes, I am talking about P.B. Shelley that I already discussed in my last session. So today I'll be starting my discussion with one of his renowned poem, Ode to the West Wind. Yes, Ode to the West Wind. If winter comes, can spring be for behind? That line that is quite enthusiastic for all of us, isn't it? So I'll be starting with Ode to the West Wind today. So let's start. We all know that poetry falls into different types of genres. The main three genres in the poetry are lyrical poetry, narrative poetry, dramatic poetry, and ode falls into the group of a lyrical poetry. So ode means when we are trying to glorify or praising someone or something. So as Ode to the West Wind start, we'll find that West Wind has been depicted by P.B. Shelley in different way. So ode means trying to glorifying or praising something or someone or some event. Okay, so we'll start with Ode to the West Wind, but there are a number of ode that is written by John Keats, and we can take the example of Ode to a Grecian or Ode to Autumn. So ode is generally when we are trying to glorify someone or something, that is an ode. So before starting Ode to the West Wind, the poem, I'll be starting the discussion of the background of the poem. So let's start with the background. So if we talk about the background of Ode to the West Wind, we must say that Shelley wrote this poem in 1819 while living in Florence, Italy, and it was published in 1820 in Prometheus Unbound, a play which was remained unperformed. So Shelley himself claimed that he wrote Ode to the West Wind while sitting in the wood in front of Arno River. Though he loved in Italy, but somehow he was missing his native England, as he reveled in Ode to the West Wind. So let's start with the first cantos. There are 5 cantos. In the first canto, Shelley depicted the activities of the west wind on the land. In the second canto, Shelley depicted the west wind activities on or over the sky, and in the third canto, Shelley depicted the activities or the different types of deeds of the west wind on the sea or over the sea. And in the fourth and fifth cantos, it's an appeal of the poet to the west wind. So I'll be discussing the first canto today, because if I'll discuss the 5 cantos all together, it will be quite monotonous for you. So let's start with the first canto of Ode to the West Wind. O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanted fling. So here the poet is depicted the west wind as the very breath of autumn. Means here the west wind has been personified by the poet as the life force of the autumn's existence, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanted fling. So though we cannot see the west wind, but we can feel its presence, and it has the power to drive away all the dead and decayed leaves like an enchanter, like a black magician or a necromancer. It has the power to drive away all the evil spirits from the earth, as it is driving away all the dead and decayed leaves from the earth. Yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence stricken multitudes, O thou who charioted through their dark wintry bed. Here, the dead leaves has been depicted by the poet Shelley as yellow, black, pale and hectic red. The bloody red color that is also related with different types of disease. Pestilence stricken multitudes is used by the poet as a metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech which is used to describe an object, person, situation or an action in such a way that will help the reader to understand it without using as or like. Pestilence stricken multitude, dead, sick and sickness or dying or disease are also related with our personal life. When we succumb to different types of diseases, we pray to God, we follow the willpower of God. Similarly, the dead and decayed leaves are also following the west wind to be driven away by it. Who chariots to their dark wintry bed. The west wind has been used as a chariot to drive away all the dead and decayed leaves to their wintry bed, to their grave. The inactivity of the winter season, as there is no vegetation in the winter season, has been used as an indicative reference by the dead and decayed leaves. The winged seeds, where they lie cold and low, each like a corpse within its grave, until thine Achio, sister of the spring, shall blow. The winged seeds, where they lie cold and low, the seeds are lying cold and low because they are transferred from one place to another. They are blown away from one place to another. They have nothing to do but to lie down like a dead body, like a corpse, means like a dead body in their grave. But there is a hope that will come, since after, like an Agio sister, like a sweet, beautiful and bright sister, spring will come and it will help the dead and decayed leaves to transfer into a manure, and the bird will bloom into a beautiful fragrant flower by the help of spring. Her clarion over the dreaming earth and field, driving sweet birds like flock to feed in air, with living hues and odors plain and heal. So the musical instrument of the spring, clarion means musical instrument of the spring. The spring will play its own musical instrument, unlike the shepherd is also playing its musical instrument to attract the cow and goat in its own places, with living hues and odors plain and heal. The spring will add different types of color, different types of fragrance to the birds, and it will bloom into a beautiful flower. Plain and heal is used as an oxymoron, that is that is presented everywhere, that is prevalent everywhere. Plain and heal. The spring is helping the west wind. The spring is helping the dead and decayed leaves to bloom into a different types of flower, and it is helping the dead leaves to be used as a manure, and it is helping the birds to bloom into a different types of fragrant flower. and it is presented everywhere. Plain and heel is used as an oxymoron that I'll be the rhetorical devices that is prevalent in Ode to the West Wind. I'll be discussing in my next session. For that you have to stay connected with us. Wild spirit, which are moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, here, oh here. So the West Wind has been depicted by the poet as wild spirit, and it is moving him everywhere. It is prevalent everywhere. It is moving everywhere. Destroyer and preserver itself is a paradoxical statement, because the West Wind has the mighty power to withdraw everything, to take away everything with its mighty fashion, with its powerful way. And preserver, as it is helping the dead leaves and helping the birds to regenerate, or to helping the dead leaves to rebirth. So that's why it is described by the poet as a preserver, as it is destroying the dead, decaying things, and it is preserving the thing to bloom, to get life, to regenerate once more time, once again. Here, oh here, the West Wind, the poet is addressing the West Wind. Can you hear? Can you hear the wild spirit, the wild power, the mightiest power you have? Can you hear? The poet is addressing one more time the West Wind. So West Wind in the first canto has been depicted as a destroyer and preserver, as it is also related with the society. The West Wind has the power to destroy all the decayed, dead things, and it also has the power to preserve the bird, preserve the seeds, to sprout it once again. So that's all. I tried to explain the first canto and the left 4 cantos. I'll be continuing in the next session. For that you have to stay connected with us. I hope you like the session. Please like, subscribe our English teacher channel, and for that you have to watch our channel, and please help us to grow. Thank you everyone. Have a blessed day.